Hello guys and welcome to India.
Here we are, friends. Today marks the beginning of a new adventure across some of the most iconic corners of the Indian subcontinent. A journey that will take us through Uttar Pradesh, moving past monuments whose beauty refuses to yield to time, and ancient cities whose origins are lost in the mists of history. We'll trek through the desert dunes of Rajasthan, the legendary land of the Maharajas, where exquisite palaces still tower over endless sun-drenched plains. Finally, we lose ourselves in the vast expanse of the Himalayas, entering Ladakh, famously known as Little Tibet. There, Buddhist monasteries cling to sheer rocky cliffs against a backdrop of towering, snow-capped titans. But our journey actually begins somewhere else. Delhi, the sprawling Indian capital, the beating heart of the nation with its 35 million inhabitants, standing as the third most populous city on earth and arguably one of the most complex. We are going to lose ourselves in its labyrinth of alleys and dive deep to understand its history and unique character just a little better.
Many people consider India as a uniform country, but it's quite the opposite.
India is less of a country and more of a civilization continent, defined by a profound diversity driven by four core forces: geography, migration, religion, and deliberate political design. The towering Himalayas to the north and the vast oceans wrapping around the peninsula acted as a natural basin, trapping waves of external migration and blending them over millennia. Internally, the rugged landscape, crisscrossed by wild rivers, dense jungles and mountain ranges, isolated regions, allowing entirely distinct cultures to flourish independently across the north, south, west and northeast. Rather than a single ethnic group, the population is a rich genetic mosaic, shaped by successive waves of human migration and the rise and fall of historic empires over thousands of years. India is the cradle of four of the world's major religions: Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. Yet it also embraced global faiths remarkably early in its history. Christianity reached its southwestern shores in 52 AD, and Islam arrived shortly after its inception via Arab traders, paving the way for what is now one of the largest Muslim populations on the planet. Also, this isn't a land of mere regional dialects. India is home to entirely unrelated language families. In total, in fact, the country recognizes well over 121 major languages. Rather than a melting pot where identities fuse together, India has historically functioned as a salad bowl, a place where communities live side by side while remaining fiercely distinct. Upon gaining independence in 1947, India's founding architects rejected the idea of forced assimilation. Instead, they forged a secular democracy designed to protect minority rights and officially recognize 22 languages, all anchored by the national motto, Unity in Diversity.
Delhi is made of two very different realities, two different areas. The first one up north is called Old Delhi, is where we are at this very moment. This is the old Mughal capital. Lots of commerce, narrow streets and a lot of history around. And speaking of history, we are gonna visit some places here in the Old Delhi that are seriously gonna take us back in time. And down south there's New Delhi, the orderly city built by the British during the colony.
But we'll save that part for another video because today we already have more than enough on our plate.
The uncontrolled urbanization of this area created thousands and thousands of lanes. You can actually get lost around here.
The narrow lanes of Old Delhi, historically known as Shahjahanabad, form one of the most vibrant, chaotic and enduring urban ecosystem in the world. Originally designed as a grand imperial capital, it has evolved over centuries into a dense labyrinth, where history, commerce and multi-faith communities are deeply intertwined. Founded in 1639 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, Old Delhi is nearly 400 years old. Over the centuries, as the population exploded and the imperial structure collapsed, the wide-open courtyards and grand residential estates, the Havelis, were subdivided. This gave birth to the incredibly dense network of microlanes, the galis and cul-de-sac, the katras that exist today. And among the human crowds, entire families of restless monkeys populate the rooftops, balconies and tangled power lines of the city. One of the most remarkable features of Old Delhi is its radical religious coexistence. In a country that has often witnessed religious friction, the old city remains a resilient sanctuary of syncretic culture. For generations, Muslims, Hindus, Sikh and Jain families have lived stuck on top of or right alongside one another.
This guy keeps following me. I don't know how many times I told him I don't need a rickshaw. He's gonna do all the vlog with us. I don't need, thank you, sir. What's your name? Sif? What's your name?
Fun.
Afan. Nice to meet you. Marco. Marco. I don't know if you guys can hear me loud and clear because here people are just screaming and honking. It's very chaotic, but anyways, I want you to feel like you were here with me. So enjoy the noise. People here honk a lot, not to insult you, as we often do in the Western world, but to make you aware of their presence. It's a sort of radar. Being such a big city, Delhi has a lot of problems, as you can imagine. There's rubbish pretty much everywhere around the streets. I was on a bus yesterday, for example, and the bus driver was just throwing rubbish from the window of the bus. I guess many people still consider it a normal thing to do. And one thing I noticed is that they have a problem with public urination. Many people just urinate on the streets in public. The Indian government is trying to fix this problem, building some sort of public toilet, very basic. And of course around those areas the smell is not the most pleasant one. Cows are sacred here in India. They are free to roam around on the streets, and as you can see there are people constantly feeding them.
For centuries, cows have occupied a unique position in Indian urban landscapes. In Hinduism, the cow is revered as a sacred animal, Gau Mata or Mother Cow, symbolizing gentleness, sustenance, and life itself. Yet, while the imagery is deeply spiritual, the modern reality is heavily economic. Many of the cows roaming these narrow lanes belong to illegal or semi-legal urban dairies operating on the fringes of the old city. Dairy owners often let their cattle loose during the day to forage for their own food, often among piles of trash, saving themselves the baseline cost of feed. Doing so, they consume massive amounts of plastic bags, cardboards, and toxic waste alongside organic food scraps. The physical presence of cow waste is also a massive urban management challenge.
There are serious consequences if you mistreat a cow. You can get arrested, you can get fined, you can be brought to jail, but most importantly, I guess, is that you can face social and religious backlash. There are so many interesting stories, interesting things going on along these narrow lanes.
The distribution of Urdu newspaper in Old Delhi, for example, is a beautiful centuries-old ritual that serves as a vital cultural lifeline for the city's Urdu-speaking population. The Delhi fruit and vegetable market is another centuries-old ritual, animating the streets of the historic center with a chaotic burst of energy every single morning.
If you want to buy some veggies over here, just make sure to rinse them properly because they wash them with tap water, and that can be deadly for your stomach. Is there poverty in Delhi? Yes, of course there is. You'll see it a lot along the streets. India has a lot of problems in terms of wealth distribution, not just along the social classes, but also geographically.
The most prominent economic divide in India lies between the southern and the northern states. States like Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala boast significantly higher human development indicators, better healthcare, higher literacy rates, and booming tech and service-driven economies. The southern states collectively account for roughly 30% of India's total GDP, despite having smaller populations.
This is the area outside the spice market. There are hundreds, thousands of people working in the spice market. You can see them carrying those huge sacks full of spices.
Because the market's 400-year-old lanes are too narrow for cargo trucks or vans, these workers are entirely responsible for moving tons of cargo daily, relying purely on their physical strength and heavy wooden handcarts known as telas.
These are very old-fashioned.
The vast majority of these porters are seasonal migrant workers, arriving from the economically lagging areas of nearby states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan. A single porter regularly carries between 40 and 100 kilograms balanced directly on their heads, necks and upper backs. On average, a porter earns between 300 and 600 rupees a day, roughly 3.5 to 7 USD, depending entirely on the volume of market trade and the total weight they physically move. Decades of carrying these extreme weights cause chronic musculoskeletal issues, particularly severe spinal decompression, lower back injuries, and early onset joint degeneration. Because they work completely within the informal economy, they have no health insurance, no paid sick leave, and zero worker compensation if they are injured on the job.
This place dates back to the 16th century, it's quite old, and many shops are still run by the 9th or 10th generation of the same family. The original name of this market is Kari Baoli, which means salty step well, because at the beginning there was a step well with salt water used for bathing and to refresh the animals. Nowadays this step well is no longer, but the name remains. The air here is very thick, it's filled with the powder of all these spices. It's not unusual, actually I would say it's pretty common to see people sneezing and coughing. So I really recommend you to bring at least a face mask. The main spices you'll smell around are chili, cardamom and turmeric. To visit this place, you also have to be prepared to navigate around narrow alleyways filled with tourists and workers. Also, you have to keep moving, otherwise you're gonna block the porters. The layout of this market is like a square. You go around this way, but you can also go up there on the rooftop. It's a little secret of this market, so I'm going to show you how to get there. So the access points are on the corners, on the 4 corners. And you have to look for a staircase like this one. It's a very narrow, old, dirty stairway. This is the first floor. There's a different view over the market. It's not the best one. It's quite messy. But we can keep climbing those stairways to reach the rooftop. So let's go. And that's it. This gate is open. We can go to the right. And here we are on the rooftop.
From this rooftop you get a breathtaking panoramic view over the Fochetti Masjid with its traditional red sandstone courtyard, elegant domes and towering minarets.
If we leave the spice market behind us and we get to that direction, we're gonna end up in the busiest boulevard of the city. We are in Chandni Chowk, which is the main tourist street that runs across the whole Old Delhi. And it ends up right in front of the main gate of the Red Fort. Over here, there's basically all the street food you can imagine, along with thousands of shops selling Indian garments, Indian dresses, and beautiful textiles.
The textile markets of Old Delhi are legendary, acting as the epicenter of traditional Indian bridal wear and ethnic fashion for the entire country. These textile shops specialize heavily in ceremonial, festive and traditional Indian attire. The crown jewel of this experience is the lehenga, a magnificent 3-piece traditional ensemble consisting of a voluminous, heavily embellished long skirt, a perfectly fitted blouse, and a gracefully flowing scarf or veil.
Thank you. What's your name?
Raju.
Raju.
Rami Vatesep.
Rami Vatesep. Marco, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Sanjit Kumar.
Sanjit Kumar.
Sanjit Kumar.
Kumar. Sanjit Kumar. Marco, nice to meet you. You work here?
India country, Bihar.
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 Bihar. You?
UP.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
This area is off limits for cars. You'll see around just rickshaws with no engine and a few motorbikes.
The cycle and electric rickshaws of Chandni Chowk are the ultimate symbol of Old Delhi's chaotic, kinetic energy. They form the primary circulatory system of the old city, providing the essential last-mile connectivity where cars and larger vehicles simply cannot physically venture. Very few pullers actually own their rickshaws. Instead, they rent them from local fleet owners for a daily fee of about 50 to 100 rupees, less than $1 or $2 a day.
And of course you can hire one of these rickshaws for a tour of the old city. They've been asking me for 20 rupees, but I don't think this is the final price. I think there's a catch.
You are driver?
Huh?
You driver?
I drive? Yeah, let's try.
Okay. Bello. Let's go. Let's go, Yari. Margato, let's go. You are bicycle. My here.
Man, that's hard.
You are no driver good. Margato, no good. Here, पहले सीधा. इसको चलाने दे रहा साला को चलाने दे. Hello, my friend, Margato.
Go this way.
Hello, Margato.
Why it goes this way?
No, yaar, Margato. He stayed, bro. You are very. You are said that. No problem. Margato, bello. Margato, bello. साला को ठोक ठाक दे रहा है बहन के लोग. You are slowly, Margato. Hello, my video. Slowly. You are balanced. Slowly. You are balanced. Slowly. You are fast.
Okay, slow.
Slow. You are straight.
Thank you.
You are found.
Yeah.
You are straight. Here, no problem.
Yeah.
Here, you are.
Wow, guys, I failed miserably. Everyone was laughing at me while I was crashing the rickshaw here and there. Oh my god. But to be fair, guys, there was some kind of problem with the front wheel. I'm sure about it. It was not straight, it was not balanced at all.
And now let's talk about the ultimate soul of Old Delhi, its street food. Trying to convey these aromas, colors and flavors born from the masterful blending of countless spices is no easy task. But I'm gonna try. Even though I know for a fact that some of these delicacies won't be to everyone's taste. Whether you love it or fear it, Delhi's street food is legendary. Here, secret recipes have been passed down through the same families for 4 to 5 generations. Just to name some of the most famous dishes, you'll find dahi vada, aloo tikki, bedmi puri, kachoris, pani puri, samosas, kebabs, nihari, and of course the iconic masala chai sold on every corner. You'll also see traditional tandoori ovens constantly burning hot, churn out freshly baked breads and masterfully spiced chicken.
Now let's try a classic Indian drink. It's called the badam milk, which means literally almond milk. The main ingredients are basically milk, almond, sugar, saffron and cardamom. That's why the color is yellow, because of the saffron. Oh wow, that's so tasteful. I wasn't expecting something like this. Wow. And also the cardamom leaves a very nice taste in your mouth. I would say it's a solid 8 out of 10. So I just came across this place that sells chole bhature. Let's give it a try. Okay, here we have it. Look at this beauty. Now everyone is eating it on the street, on these pillars. Let's find a more comfortable place. There's nothing around. I guess this thing is gonna work as a table. Chole bhature is typical from the northern regions of India. It's made of chole, which is the curry, a spicy dark colored chickpea curry. Bhature is this one, large deep fried bread, and there are some other toppings as well. So you basically take a chunk of this bread and you use it as a spoon to grab the curry and the chickpeas along with these other things. I switched camera because this thing is gonna get real messy. Also, this bread is very oily, so I can't touch my big camera anymore. everything is so rich in flavor, so many spices. Wow, spicy. Let's put something else on it. Let's put this one. And let's dip it into the sauce. I'm not sure which kind of sauce is this, but guys, you should try this. With the onions and chili, even better. Always nice to have these wet wipes with you. Let's go for a dessert. Let's try something very typical, sweet called jalebi.
To experience it firsthand, I headed into one of the oldest and most celebrated shops in Chandni Chowk.
The butter is a mix of refined flour and water left to ferment overnight. The shell is crunchy, and when you bite it, you feel all the syrup, hot syrup coming out. In northern India, it's often served with a thick milk pudding. Eating on the streets of Delhi can be quite uncomfortable. Well, this milk pudding is actually fridge temperature, which is good. If it's room temperature, big red flag. Very nice and sweet. Of course, you eat it with your hands. Wow, I can see all the syrup inside leaking. Wow. Very sweet though.
Safe to say, it is absolutely spectacular, delicious down to the very last bite. Another local crown jewel is lassi, one of India's most traditional, refreshing and beloved drinks. Simply put, it's a thick, creamy, yogurt-based beverage served ice cold.
Oh wow, yes. I tried another one yesterday, but this one is so much better.
100% pure.
It's very creamy. The one I tried last time was liquid. Yes. Oh.
This is 100% pure.
And you put pumpkin seeds inside?
Yes.
And what else?
We put nuts, pumpkin seeds, almonds, everything.
Raisin? No raisin? Okay. Very good. Seriously, the food here is amazing. I've been eating on the street, in restaurants, everywhere, and yeah, my stomach was totally fine. The only thing I'm really careful with is the water. I never drink tap water, and I always make sure that the bottle of water is always sealed. Anyways, if something should happen, I'm covered. I have the best insurance on the market. Also, if you want to check it out, follow the link in the description of the video and check out this insurance company. It's called Safety Wing. If you use my link to purchase your insurance, I get a small commission, you get a nice discount, so it's a win-win.
With our culinary tour wrapped up, we dive back into history and culture as we head towards the Red Fort. Just the time to find a rickshaw driver honest enough for a quick 10 minutes ride.
You got Red Fort? Red Fort? How much? 100. Okay. Okay, I found one for 100. Seems a fair price to me. So we basically took a secondary road because the main one was just too busy. Have a good day. What a ride. Wow. Well, we're here, we made it to the fort. The ticket counter is located on the south side of the building, so the tuk-tuk is gonna drop you there, not at the main entrance. Those are the ticket counters, pretty busy. but there's a dedicated line for foreigners. I got the entry ticket 600 rupees. Now we have to walk for 500 meters, something like that, just alongside the walls of this giant fortress to reach the main entrance.
Hey, this is Punjab. My friend, Englishman.
He looks awesome.
More often than not, the people I've encountered on the streets have been incredibly kind, warm and welcoming, offering the very best of India's hospitality.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Enjoy your visit. Yeah? Huh? Tea? I have to work now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
And here we are standing before the magnificent Red Fort.
Hello. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, guys, we are in. This is the main gate. The fort is surrounded by a moat. Once was filled with water, of course. Today there's nothing. We are passing through the gate and there's a little tunnel. And at the end of this tunnel, check this out, guys.
The Red Fort, known locally as Lal Kila, is a massive historical fortification that stands as an architectural icon of India. Positioned right on the eastern edge of Old Delhi, it represents the absolute zenith of Mughal power, creative artistry and political drama. It was commissioned by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in 1638, following his historic decision to shift the imperial capital from Agra to Delhi.
This gate is called the Lahori Gate because it faces the city of Lahore, nowadays in Pakistan. Since 2007, this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now let's pass the gate and we are right in the middle of what is called the Chandni Chowk. It's a very old covered bazaar. When it was built, it was unique in India. Let's keep going. Let's get out of the Chandni Chowk Bazaar and we are right in front of this white building. Over there, musicians used to welcome the emperor when he was entering the fort. It's better to visit this place during winter, especially during the morning or late afternoon. Guess what time it is now? 12 p.m. I'm not even able to follow my own advices. There's quite a lot of smog around Delhi city, but this creates kind of mystical atmosphere around because everything is kind of foggy. This is the hall of the public audience where the emperor used to receive the public, the common people, to listen to their problems, complaints and grievances. Inside you can see the original marble throne. It's a true masterpiece. It's carved with beautiful decorations and very nice paintings. You have to imagine that on top of it there was a throne made of solid gold and diamonds, including the Koh-i-Noor, which is today the biggest diamond ever found. This diamond has a very interesting story. Basically has been stolen through the centuries by different emperors from different places and nowadays sits on the crown, if I'm not wrong, of the Queen of England. We keep going that way because over there's the private residence of the emperor. Honestly, the thing that strikes me the most about this place is not even the architecture, is its peacefulness. It's unbelievable that outside these walls there's a very crazy city, probably the craziest city I've ever experienced. But here there's no honking, no traffic, no loud people, no screaming, no yelling, nothing. A corner of paradise in the middle of hell. No offense for Delhi. A key element of this fort was water. Water used to flow everywhere here in these gardens. You can see canals all over the place creating beautiful symmetries, but today, of course, they are empty. This fresh water coming from the Yamuna river flowing through these canals was not just decorative. It has also another purpose. It used to lower the temperature of this place.
The actual name of the red fort is L'Alquila, and no, it was not always red. Even if the sandstone has been always red, deep red, all the buildings inside were mainly white. Red and white were the favorite colors of the emperor.
This beautiful building over here is the Taj Mahal. It was the private residence of the emperor.
I'm gonna wait a bit over here, waiting for sunset, because right now the color of this building is white, a bright white. But during sunset, these buildings are gonna change color.
I mean, you can see this white marble getting this golden color and the red of the sandstone getting even more red. I guarantee you it's the perfect time to visit the Red Fort. Just on the outskirts of Old Delhi, there's this place on the southeastern side, I think, yes. It's called Raj Ghat. It's the place where in 1948 Mahatma Gandhi was cremated. It goes without saying, guys, that this is a very special place, very spiritual place for all Indians. They've created this hill, and right in the middle there's the exact location where the body of Mahatma Gandhi was cremated. Right there where you see the black marble. We can actually go inside. Gandhi was killed by a Hindu extremist. He was blaming him to be too tolerant religiously, especially with the Muslims after the partition between India and Pakistan. So he went to his home, which by the way is still in the middle of New Delhi, and shot him 3 times in the chest.
Over 1 million devastated people flooded the banks of the Yamuna River, climbing trees and filling every single inch of open ground just to catch a final glimpse of the funeral pyre.
So yeah, being here on this very ground so many years later is quite impressive.
Our journey through the streets of Old Delhi is drawing to a close, but there is still one last place I want to show you. It's called the Jama Masjid, the mosque that reflects the sky.
So we are inside the Jama Mosque. This is the biggest mosque in India. This massive courtyard can accommodate at the same time over 25,000 faithful. Its construction was all about grandeur and symbolism. You can see those 3 large domes on top of the mosque, and those are built using white and black marble. The legend has it that the emperor built them on top of a platform so he could be closer to God than his people. This mosque has 3 entrances. One is over there, the other one is behind us. But this one was the royal entrance. It's the biggest one and it's built on 3 different levels. It was obviously open just for the emperor. At the center of this courtyard there's a big pool that is used to wash yourself, to wash your feet, your face before the prayer. Of course, the dress code is very strict. To enter, you must cover your shoulders and your legs. You can also climb the minaret to have a bird's eye view over the city, but there's an extra price to pay for that.
Behind the grand monuments and the imperial history lies the true heart of the old city. The people who keep its wheels turning. From the spice porter carrying a lifetime of weight on his shoulders, to the delivery boy waving through dark alleys at dawn, to the multi-faith communities living stacked on top of one another. Their survival is bound together by a shared daily rhythm. It is a world built on radical coexistence, a fragile, hyper-efficient human tapestry that simply refuses to be erased by time.
Well guys, this was Old Delhi, a short journey through history. Hello, flavors, traditions and colors. Let me know in the comments below if you expected Old Delhi to look like this. Also, what's the thing that captured your attention or curiosity the most? I'm leaving Delhi tomorrow. I'm going to catch a train that is going to take me to Vrindavan to celebrate one of the most colorful festivals in the world. So I really hope to see you over there. See you later, guys.